Hello everyone. I am Dr. P. Mageshan, Associate Professor, Department of Chemistry, Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research. Today we are going to see an important and familiar topic, that is corrosion and its control. So before moving into the topic, we should know the definition of corrosion. I can tell you it is defined as the gradual destruction of the materials, so usually a metal or alloys, by chemical or electrochemical reaction with the environment. So it is the gradual destruction of the materials, so usually a metal or alloys, by chemical or electrochemical reaction with their environment. So in this lecture, we are going to see the introduction of corrosion, effects of the corrosion process, types of corrosion, theories of corrosion, factors influencing corrosion, and corrosion control methods. So first we just know about the introduction about corrosion. So as I told you, it is the process of decay of metals by chemical or electrochemical attack with its environment. That is called corrosion. For example, you can see in the pic, so this pic shows the rusting of iron. So you can see the formation of a reddish brown layer of the rust on the surface of the iron. So the rusting is formed not only on the iron, you can see in the second pic, you can see this is the example for rusting of copper. So you can see in the pic, the Liberty statue, there is the formation of green film of basic carbonate on the surface of copper. Okay, so now we have to measure the corrosion. So we have to measure the corrosion in the units of milli-inches per year or millimeter per year. Yeah, coming to that, causes of corrosion. So what are the causes for corrosion? So the main reason for this attack is most of the metals exist in the nature in the form of their minerals or ores in the stable combined form as oxides, chlorides, silicates, carbonates, sulfates. Okay. During the extraction of the metals, these ores are reduced to metallic state by considerable amount of energy. Coming to that, effects of corrosion, obviously we know the effects of corrosion, so we can see one by one. First one is the valuable metallic properties like conductivity, malleability, ductility are lost due to corrosion. Okay, so the process of corrosion is very harmful. Okay, and it is responsible for the enormous wastage of the metal in the form of its compounds. And importantly, the lifespan of the metallic parts of the machineries is reduced. Because of that degradation or decay of the metals or materials, the lifespan of the metallic parts of the machineries is reduced. So coming to that final effects of corrosion, that is the failure of the machinery takes place due to the loss of useful properties of the metal. So once the metal loses its usual properties, so it gets failure, the machine gets failure. Okay. Then coming to that most important section, that is types of corrosion, because we have to identify the what type of corrosion is present. Okay, it is classified into different forms based on the nature of the environment, composition of the metal, and existence of the stresses. So they are uniform or general corrosion, localized corrosion, intergranular corrosion, environmental assisted corrosion, galvanic corrosion, concentration cell corrosion or differential erosion corrosion, microbiologically influenced corrosion. So localized corrosion is again classified into two types. One is pitting corrosion, another one is crevice corrosion. Similarly, environmental assisted corrosion is classified into three types. One is stress corrosion, another one is season corrosion, third one is caustic embrittlement. You can see, except the general or uniform corrosion, most of the other forms of corrosion are insidious in nature and are considerably more difficult to predict. because it is insidious in nature. They are very cunning. We can't supposed to predict what type of corrosion is present, except that general or uniform corrosion. Now we can see the examples and one by one of the type of corrosion. First, we can see that uniform or general corrosion. In this pic itself, we will come to know that there is a uniformity in the corroded area. Okay, this is usually caused due to the chemical and electrochemical attack. So because of that chemical and electrochemical attack, the uniformity in the corrosion happens. That corrosion comes under uniform or general corrosion. And slow corrosion of some materials in appropriate environment comes under this category. Okay, under this uniform or general corrosion category. And coming to that, a localized corrosion. So you can see in the pic, there is a localization corrosion in the pit. You can see there is a pit. In that pit, you can see the corroded area. You can see there is an extreme localized attack that may perforate into the metal sheet or plate. Okay, so this type of corrosion comes under pitting corrosion. So coming to that, crevice corrosion. You can see the crevice corrosion. It refers to the localized attack on a metal surface at or adjacent to the gap between two joints. So you can see in this pic, okay, this is an example for the crevice corrosion. The gap or crevices that can be formed between the two metal or a metal and a non-metallic material. Okay, so the corrosion formed between the gap or crevices between the metal, okay, or a metal and non-metallic material. You can see in that pic, okay, there should be a localized attack on a metal surface at or adjacent to the gap between the two joining surfaces. So this type of corrosion comes under crevice corrosion. Coming to that, intergranular corrosion, you can see there is an intergranular. From the word itself, you'll come to know that what is intergranular corrosion. In that intergranular corrosion, you can see the corrosion occurs along the grain boundaries. Okay, you can see there is a corrosion occurs along the grain boundaries. And coming to this environmental assisted corrosion. In this environmental assisted corrosion, first we are going to see stress corrosion. In this stress corrosion, you can see it is the growth of crack formation in a corrosive environment. It is the growth of crack formation in a corrosive environment. You can see because of that a preferential attack area under stress in a corrosive environment, where such an environment alone would not have get corroded. So because of the stress, the material or metal gets corroded. This type of corrosion comes under stress corrosion. Okay, coming to that, season cracking. So this is also a type of environmental assisted corrosion. This is a season cracking. This has been seen in the early steam boilers, 19th and 18th centuries of reverted carbon steel, and also it is an example for season cracking of German ammunition. So this corrosion, that is season cracking corrosion, occurs where brass case is crimped onto a bullet. So if you placed a bullet onto the brass case, so because of the area of high residual stress, it gets corroded. Okay, so it is common in warm, wet environment. Okay, so this type of corrosion comes under seasonal cracking. And coming to that, caustic embrittlement. Caustic embrittlement corrosion is very, very important because so the use of a concentrated sodium hydroxide in a hot water, if you use that concentrated sodium hydroxide in a hot water, okay, for boiler, okay, it will form, it will create, okay, a minute hair like crack, okay, that is inside the boiler, okay, because of that high concentration of sodium hydroxide. So if it is happened like this now, that because of that the tank get failed and it get brittle. Okay, so this type of corrosion comes under caustic embrittlement. You can see this is the carbon steel plate from a caustic storage tank that is failed by caustic embrittlement, and you can this is applicable both stationary and locomotive engines often exploded. Okay, because of that high concentration of sodium hydroxide. Okay, coming to that galvanic corrosion. So this galvanic corrosion is also an important corrosion because so this occurs so in an electrochemical process in which one metal, okay, in which one metal corrodes preferentially when in electrical contact with different type of metal which is both immersed in an electrolyte. Okay, actually the metal gets corroded because of that there is an electrical contact with some other metal. So both are immersed in an electrolyte, these metals gets corroded. So this type of corrosion is called galvanic corrosion. Okay, so coming to that concentration cell corrosion. So because of the use of high concentration of that thing, it gets corroded. You can see here. So the concentration corrosion, cell corrosion occurs when two more areas of metal surface are in contact with different concentration of the same solution. So if we have two or more areas of the metal surface, so if you can see these two or more areas of the metal surface are in contact with the different concentration of the same solution, okay, the corrosion occurs. That type of corrosion is called concentration cell corrosion. And important corrosion is erosion corrosion. You can see that there is an erosion corrosion is caused by the combined effect of upbraiding action of turbulent flow of gases, vapors, and liquids, and the mechanical rubbing action of solids over a metal surface. So it's very simple. You can see in that iron pipe, because of the flow of gaseous vapors and liquids, okay, and there is a mechanical rubbing action of the solids over the metallic surface, it gets eroded. So due to that erosion, it started to getting corrosion. So that type of corrosion is called erosion corrosion. Okay, so and coming to the most important corrosion is that microbiological corrosion. You can see, so this is because of a direct or indirect attack of what is that living organisms like bacteria and algae. You can see there is a deterioration of metal directly or indirectly by the metabolic activity of living organism is called microbiological corrosion. So these microorganisms include bacteria, algae, etc. Okay, now we can move on to corrosion removal. So how can we remove the corrosion? So because a complete corrosion treatments involves the following steps. You can see step number 1, cleaning and stripping of the corroded area. So we have to clean or strip the corroded area as much as possible. Okay. Second point is that removing as much of the corrosion product as practicable. So once it gets started corroding, so if it is, in this small amount, means we have to remove that corrosion products. Okay. So third, we have to neutralize any residual materials which is remains in the pits and crevices. Okay, we have to neutralize. So if it is supposed to be some material or some pits gets corroded because of some materials, so we have to neutralize that materials by using any residual materials. Okay, so coming to that next point, restoring protective surface films. Okay, so in stainless steel, we could see there is a layer of chromic oxide film. Okay, that can protect it from the corrosion. So like that, we have to restore the protective surface film by using some other types. Okay, Last, applying temporary or permanent coatings or paint finishes. Okay, we have to apply temporary or permanent coatings or paint finishes. If you paint something now, we can avoid the corrosion. Okay, so this is some what is that? Some points regarding the corrosion removal. Now we can move on to the theories of corrosion. Okay, so broadly the corrosion process proceeds in two types: by a direct chemical action of the environment on the surface of the metal in the absence of moisture and in the presence of a conducting liquid by the formation of electrochemical cells. You can see here. So it is this theories of corrosion. The process proceeds into two types: by direct chemical action of the environment on the surface of the metal in the absence of moisture and in the presence of the conducting liquid by the formation of an electrochemical cells. So these theories can be classified into two types. One is wet corrosion, another one is dry corrosion. Now we can see what is dry corrosion and how it happens. So this dry corrosion occurs by oxidation corrosion mechanism, or corrosion by other gases mechanism, or liquid metal corrosion. Okay, we can see one by one. So this is oxidation corrosion. So direct attack of oxygen at high or low temperature. Okay, direct attack of oxygen at high or low temperature on the metal surface in the absence of moisture is called oxidation corrosion. Okay, first it gets oxidized. Okay, we can see the equation. So it gives the direct attack of oxygen at high or low temperature on the metal surface in the absence of moisture is called the oxidation corrosion. Coming to that, corrosion by other gases. So it's something like erosion corrosion. So because of that, flow of gases like sulfur dioxide, chlorine, hydrogen sulfide, and fluorine, this causes chemical corrosion, and the extent of corrosion mainly depends on the reactivity of the gases on the metal surface. So how much the gases react with the metal surface. Okay, and the corrosion product is a metal compound. Obviously the corrosion product is a metal compound, and the nature of the metal compounds only determines the corrosion. So based on the nature of the metal compound determines the corrosion. Okay, so coming to that, chemical action, that means liquid metal corrosion. So the chemical action of a flowing liquid metal. Okay, if the liquid is flowing, because of that chemical action of the metal at high temperature, okay, on a solid metal or alloy, produces a liquid metal corrosion. It's very simple. Okay, the reason for the corrosion is the dissolution of the solid metal by the liquid metal, or internal penetration of the metal into the solid phase, weakening the solid metal. So it is the reason for the corrosion is dissolution of the solid metal by the liquid metal, or internal penetration of the liquid metal into the solid phase. Okay, that weakens the solid metal. And coming to that, wet or electrochemical corrosion. So this wet or electrochemical corrosion involves evaluation of hydrogen and absorption of oxygen. Okay, so first we can see evaluation of hydrogen. So hydrogen gas liberates in the form of bubbles near the cathode. Okay, it liberates in the form of bubbles near the cathode. So thus the hydrogen evaluation type of corrosion is nothing but it is the displacement of H plus. Okay, displacement of H plus from acidic solution by the metal ions. It is the displacement of H plus from the acidic solution by the metal ions. Okay, all the metals above H2 in the electrochemical series gets dissolved in acidic solution with the simultaneous evaluation of hydrogen. Okay, the metals which is above the hydrogen in an electrochemical series that gets dissolved in acidic solution with the simultaneous evaluation of hydrogen. Next, we can see that absorption of oxygen. Okay, so you can say that if electrolyte is neutral, okay, if the electrolyte is neutral or alkaline aqueous solution, corrosion takes place by absorption of oxygen, okay, rusting of iron in water that containing the dissolved oxygen occurs by oxygen absorption mechanism. Okay, this happened in that you can say in that electrolyte is neutral. If the electrolyte is neutral, alkaline aqueous solution, corrosion takes by absorption of oxygen. Okay, corrosion takes by absorption of oxygen. You can see the example in the rusting of iron in water that is containing dissolved oxygen that occurs by oxygen absorption mechanism. So it absorbs the oxygen from the dissolved oxygen, okay, so that the iron in the water gets rust. Okay, at anodic area, iron will dissolve by oxidation. So the surface of the iron is usually coated with the thin film of iron oxide. Okay, and you can see, but if this iron oxide film develop some cracks, if the iron oxide film develop some cracks, anodic areas are created on the surface while the metal ion act as a cathode. Okay, so this is something related to the absorption of oxygen, which comes under the wet or electrochemical corrosion. Okay, now we can move on to the topic that is factors influencing corrosion. So what are the factors that can influence or that can depends the rate of extent of corrosion? Okay, so there are two main factors, okay, that depends the rate of extent of corrosion. One is nature of the metal, another one is nature of the corroding atmosphere. We can see the nature of the metal. So the nature of this metal is very, very important. We should see the position in the galvanic series over voltage and purity of the metal, nature of the oxide film, and nature of the corrosion product. So we should think about that nature of the metal. Okay, and coming to that nature of the environment, we should think about the effect of temperature, effect of pH, humidity, and effect of oxidant. So these four factors are also depends the rate of extent of corrosion. And coming to that corrosion control methods. So we have to control the corrosion anyway. So in this slide, we can see the control methods like proper designing, using pure metal, using metal alloys, modifying the environment, use of inhibitors, cathodic protection, application of protection coating. We can see one by one what is proper designing and how can we use a pure metal. Okay, we can see that proper designing of the metal. So this corrosion controls that should begin at the engineering stage. That means if the part is for use in an environment where it is susceptible to corrosion, the manufacturer should design the part with that in mind, because the designing plays a very, very important role in corrosion. Okay, you can see in this pic, okay, the first image, there is a impingement, okay, in that pipe because of that poor design. So that leads to erosion corrosion. In the second image, you can see there is a better design. So you can see there is a smooth flow. If it is smooth flow, the corrosion will not occur. So the design is very, very important. Okay, coming to that, using pure metal and using metal alloys, using pure metals and using metal alloys. So presence of impurities in the metal, okay, presence of impurities in the metals that cause heterogeneity or okay, that cause heterogeneity and decreases the corrosion resistance of the metal. So the presence of impurities in a metal causes heterogeneity and decreases the corrosion resistance of the metal. I can tell you the example. The presence of just 0.02% of iron in the aluminum, that decreases its corrosive resistance of the metal. Okay, I can tell you one more time. Presence of just 0.02% of iron in aluminum decreases its corrosive resistance. Okay, and coming to that, using metal alloys. So the corrosion resistance can be increased by alloying the metal with the suitable metal. Take an example. So the presence of chromium, okay, the presence of a chromium in stainless steel, that produces a protective oxide film. As I told you, it's a presence of chromium in a stainless steel that produces a protective oxide film, okay, that can protect from the corrosion. And coming to that, use of inhibitors. Okay, so the use of inhibitors is to decrease the rate of corrosion process is quite varied. So because you can see in the pic, people are using some inhibitors. Okay, so this inhibitors can be used in the oil extraction and processing industries. These have been always considered to be the first line of defense against corrosion. So in the oil extraction and in process in some industries, so this inhibitors to be the first line of defense against corrosion. Okay, and coming to that, application of protection coating. You can see that, as I told you, because of that, they are applying some protective coatings. So a protective coating is a layer of material that is applied to the surface of the another material with the intent of inhibiting or preventing the corrosion. It is a layer of material which is applied to the surface of another material with the intent of inhibiting or preventing corrosion. So a protective coating may be metallic or non-metallic. Okay. And coming to that, modifying the environment. So how can we modify the environment? So as we discussed in that earlier, many environmental factors that impacts the likelihood of the corrosion. It helps to keep metal parts in clean, dry place when not in use. Okay. If you intend to store them for a long time, consider the using methods to control the level of sulfur, chloride, or oxygen in the surrounding environment. Okay. So if you want to store or if you want to keep them for a long time, so we have to consider the method with the level of sulfur, chloride, or oxygen in the surrounding environment. Okay. Coming to that, important method is cathodic protection. So it is possible to prevent corrosion by applying an opposite electrical current to the metal surface. Okay, one method of cathodic protection is an impressed current using an outside course of an electrical current to overpower a corrosive current in a part. So the metal to be, the metal to be protected is connected to an external anode and a DC current. Okay, so the metal to be protected is connected to an external anode and a DC current is passed, so that all the areas of the metal surface becomes cathodic. All the areas of the metal surface becomes cathodic and do not corrode. Okay, so this is called a cathodic protection. So this cathodic protection can be performed by two types. One is sacrificial anode and by impressed current. Okay, this cathodic protection can be done by two types. One is by sacrificial anode, another one is by an impressed current. Okay, so in this lecture, so we have seen the introduction and types of corrosion, theories of corrosion, what are the causes of corrosion, what are the effects of corrosion, and corrosion removal methods and corrosion control methods. Thank you so much.